Okay, our last part of these is going to be about exterior angles. And we talked about exterior angles back when we did triangles. And if you recall, it's where you take one side of a polygon and extend it out like this, and it creates an exterior angle here, exterior being on the outside. And we can do this at every one of the corners to create several exterior angles. Like here on this quadrilateral, I've done it on each one of the corners to create 4 exterior angles. And they can go either directions. For instance, I have the same shape here 2 ways. I can do it where it's going extending this one and putting it on this side, or I could extend this one and putting it on this side. It actually turns out to be the same size of angle either way. If we look here, I've got several different shapes here, a triangle, a pentagon, and a hexagon. And if you look at it as it makes each one of these, as it goes in, what are all those angles adding up to? Well, each time it's adding up to all the way around, adding up to 360. The interesting thing about the sum of these exterior angles is no matter what shape we're talking about, they always add up to 360. So, just like we had with interior angles, we're going to do exterior angles. And in order to find the sum of the exterior angles, we say, well, how many sides does it have? It has 5. But we just said the sum of the exterior angles, no matter how many sides it has, is always 360. So if I asked you another question, I gave you another shape like this one, and I said, what's the sum of its exterior angles? And I told you this one had 9, but the sum is still 360. Be sure to copy these in your notes. Now, the more interesting question is, what would each one of these angles be? If this is a regular polygon, and I know they add up to 360, I would just divide by the number of sides to find out what each one of them is. So let's do a problem like that. If I have a hexagon, and I say, what's one of the exterior angles? Well, I know that the exterior sum, all of them add up to 360, so all I need to do is divide the sum by the 6 sides it has to find that each one of them is 60 degrees. Let's do one more example. Put these in your notes. What if I had an octagon? Well, that's 8 sides. The sum is still 360, no matter how many sides it is. Then to find each one of the exteriors, I would take the 360 and divide it by n, which happens to be 8, and I would get that each one of them is 45. There's one last thing we want to talk about, and we showed this in the last PowerPoint, but here it is again. When we draw this exterior angle, straightening this side out, these two, the interior and the exterior, these two always add up to 180. That means if I know the interior, the exterior and the interior are supplementary. So if I know one of these, I can find the other one just by subtracting from 180. So for example, on a problem, if I tell you one exterior angle of a polygon is 75 degrees, and I want to know what the interior angle is, I just subtract from 180 to find the interior angle. The reverse would work if I knew the interior and I was looking for the exterior.